I am Büşra Küçükkendirci from ELT Department of Istanbul Bilgi University. Um, Before starting, I want to start with a thank you for this opportunity that you have provided us to speak here today. My presentation will be about practicing models through linguistic landscapes, and I will be sharing with you some sample activities that you can use while teaching models through linguistic landscapes. Uh, I will briefly share the outline of my presentation. Firstly, I will be addressing the question, why do we need linguistic landscapes in classroom? Before the activities, I will be sharing the learner's characteristics that you can use these activities. My first activity will be about how to use schoolscapes to teach or remind our classroom rules. My second activity is differentiating should and must. My last activity will be a speaking activity, which focuses on practicing ability and necessity models. Finally, I will be mentioning some advantages of using linguistic landscapes while teaching models. So let's start with the first one. Why do we need to use linguistic landscape in class? Um, as you know, linguistic landscapes provides many information about the culture and identity of a society. So when you go abroad to a different country, you can get many information just by looking at the linguistic landscapes that nationality has. Secondly, when it comes to classroom, as you know, linguistic landscapes are actually authentic materials because our learners can face with these uh, in their real lives. This authenticity provides a connection, a link between real life and classroom. So learning doesn't end, it continues outside of the classroom. Because of that, result of this connection, reaching permanent learning point becomes much more easier since our learners exposed to the same input both inside and outside of the classroom. This is why we need to use linguistic landscapes in classroom. Before sharing the activities, I want to address some learner characteristics that you can use during these activities. If your learners have prior knowledge about models and if their age is between 10 and 14, and if they're pre-intermediate or intermediate learners, you can easily use these activities. My first activity is about classroom rules, and the schoolscapes are the linguistic landscapes that you can face inside of a school or inside of a classroom. Um, as you know, classroom rules are important to have authority in classroom, so you can manage your classroom properly and guide your students during their learning process. Um, we will be considering these posters as a classroom rule, which is hanged on the walls of our classroom. And you will be asking to your students, uh, look at the rules that they are hanged on the walls of their classroom. And considering the classroom rules, they will be filling the blanks, as you can see in this part. They will be filling the blanks considering the classroom rules that they had on the walls of the classroom. When we focus on the first rule, for example, raise your hand for permission to speak. This is a must rule, right? So the student will be filling this blank as we must raise our hands for speak. Or when it comes to mustn't, we mustn't speak Turkish. We must speak only English. Or we can use a dictionary. Of course, you can duplicate these examples, but I will be sharing just a few of them. So with this activity, difference between must and can become much more clear, and also your students will be understanding the concept of must and can. And also they will be understanding what are the classroom rules. They will be reminded about the classroom rules, and also they will be aware of what is obligatory, what is optional, and they will be aware what should I use in these circumstances. My second activity is about differentiating must and should. This will be the instructions of this activity. Explain the sign to your partner and make her or him draw it correctly. If you make this activity by making your students as pairs, it will be much better to manage the classroom. Let's consider we have a group of students and one of the partners will be Mike and Molly. And Mike will be explaining these signs to the Molly, and Molly will be drawing regarding Mike's explanation. Let's imagine this is the first picture that Mike has. And Mike will be, by looking at this sign, will explain to the Molly. And he probably will be saying, we mustn't smoke or you mustn't smoke in this area. And Molly will be trying to draw a picture regarding Mike's explanation. At the end of each session, they will be comparing two pictures, the original picture and Molly's drawing, and they will discuss the similarities between the two pictures, differences between the two pictures, and they will discuss if it is close to original one, if it is right or wrong, so that they can understand if they understand correctly the concept of the sign. After that part, they will be changing turns, and Molly will be the one who has the picture and will make the explanation, and Mike will be drawing. Uh, for example, Molly will have this picture, and she will probably say we should not shake hands or you shouldn't shake hands. Mike should be drawing a picture that represents, it shouldn't be the exact picture that represents no handshake policy. So at the end, still, again, they will be comparing the two pictures and see the differences, similarities, if it is close to original one, if they understand the concept correctly. So this is a good speaking practice and also provides collaboration between our students. So at the end of this activity, our students will be remembering the concept of linguistic landscapes even if they go outside of the classroom because they expose the same signs both inside and outside of the classroom. So when they go outside, they will be remembering their own drawings that they made for the signs, and also they will be remembering that they made uh, for this picture their explanation. So to make continual learning process outside of the classroom using these signs that they expose every day is really useful. My last activity is directly speaking activity. If you use this activity as a whole classroom, it will be much more fun. Um, let's imagine this as a whiteboard in our classroom. You can stick or hang some of these signs to the walls of your classroom, to the board of the classroom, and you will pick randomly a student. It may be a volunteer student. Let's again call Mike. And Mike will be the one who volunteers for this activity. He will come to the board and as teacher, we will ask Mike to choose a sign. Let's consider that Mike has chosen this picture. Wear your seatbelt sign. And we will ask our students to guess the picture that Mike chose. So, but they will not be directly saying, oh, is this sign or no phone talking sign, no stop sign. It won't be like that. We will ask them first to ask as, is it a must? Is it a must? Or is it a mustn't sign like this? After that session, after they learn if it is a must or not, they will be asking the places that they can see this sign. Or like, can I see it on the streets? Can I see it on a museum? So after must and mustn't question, they will be asking the places that they can see these signs. For example, Mike has chosen this picture, this sign, and the students randomly will be asking, is it a must or mustn't? Mike will say, it is a must. Then they will be asking, can I see it on the traffic? Because only math signs are these. So they will be asking, can I see it on the traffic? Mike will say, no, you can't, because this is a sign that you can see on the plane. The only last sign that they can probably be will be that. So they will be asking, can I see it on the plane? Mike will tell, yes, you can. So is it you must, the students, maybe all of the students will be asking, is it you must wear your seatbelt sign? And Mike will say yes. This is a basic, the most basic probably activity, but it really provides a good collaboration between all of the students, and they really like, young learners really like guessing and inferencing something. Lastly, I will be addressing the advantages of using linguistic landscapes while teaching models. If you use directly a worksheet to teach models, it will be probably so elusive because models are already elusive. But if you use linguistic landscapes while teaching, since they will be seeing all of these signs in their real lives, the concept of model will become much more concrete, much more perceptible inside the head of your learners. And also, they are authentic materials, so you will be bringing authentic materials inside of the classroom. They are relevant and current because the students will be already seeing all of these signs in their daily lives, so they will be getting much more interested because they are things that they need in their real life. They will be in need of knowing what are these signs since they are exposed to it every day. And the last thing, with these linguistic landscapes, by using linguistic landscapes while teaching models, we expose our learners both inside and outside of the classroom. So because of all of these reasons, I suggest you to use while teaching models the linguistic landscapes.